Welcome back to Tom's Garage. I bet all the neighbors heard that. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Today, pow, John Deere S140. S140. And so many other models, the E series, D series, whatever, they're all going to be just like this. Feller said he was cutting his grass in a big old stick. Got up in his transmission drive belt. Well, I got the belt put back on. It come out of the little double pulleys. I'll show you later. But it burnt several spots on the belt. So let me show you what it's doing after we got the belt put back on. Here. Yeah, you're gonna like this. This ain't good. Pay close attention to that clutch pedal. Yeah, that's what happens when you get bad spots in the belt. So, pow! It's a brand new belt, GX20006. Now this part number has changed, but this is the original part number. This is how you can still find it. Oh, let me look right here, and I'll tell you what the new part number is. You can go to johndeere.com and look up the part, and it will tell you that it is, let me find that paper. Let me find the paper. There it is. The new part number is UC30568, which is the old part numbers of GX20006. You can get this belt, off the shelf at Lowe's or Home Depot. But like I said before, this belt's kind of expensive. I think it was like 28 bucks. But always, yep, there's a new part number. Always look at the belt and look at the package it's in. Because a lot of times somebody will take the package off a real cheap belt and put an expensive belt and put that belt back in that expensive package. And when you get home, you find out you got the wrong belt. UC30568. Can't tell you how many times I go into Lowe's and Home Depot looking for belts sometimes, and I'll kind of thumb through stuff and just kind of look, because the employees there, they're not trained to know that. Well, all right, let's get busy. What we got to do, we're going to pull this deck off on this particular model, and so many others. You got to pull the steering column loose. Right there. You got to pull the nut off. You got to pull this gear off, and you got to pull the shaft out. Not all the way, but up far enough to get the belt. Because the belt's going to go around that steering column. So you got to do that. And then what I have a lot of problems with, I got these big old fat fingers and big fat hands. You've got to get, let me grab my flashlight here and I'll walk around the table. Oh boy. I'm sure I've got plenty of videos on doing this, but there's a belt keeper. A little stud that screws in right behind, under this fan right there. Right. Get my hand in there, right there. You got to get this stud out of there because that goes right against that pulley. That's what keeps the belt from coming off. It's a 17 millimeter, if I ain't mistaken. Or the top of this right here has got a hex. You can get a little hex driver and you can unscrew it from the top. But I like to just get my hand in here like this and just kind of work it to the wrench. That's just the way I do it, but you can do it any way that's comfortable for you. Well, y'all hang loose, man. We're gonna get underway. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is pull this deck off. This one's got the electric PTO, which doesn't have the manual engagement. You like that? Okay. First thing I'm gonna do is hook it right here. Okay. We got one up here. Wow. I got the deck lowered all the way down too, so you gotta make sure you do that. Get this little washer here off. Wow. And pull that off. Sometimes you gotta take a screwdriver and pry it off. It's under a little bit of pressure. Under a little pressure. There we go. Slide that down. That thing's awful stiff. Okay. And we get to take this one off. And the washer pile. I just take and pull this off. You're not going to mess up the deck adjustment by doing this unless you turn that. Just get that out of the way. Because sliding that deck off and on the other table, that usually just falls off. Okay, we'll go to the other side. Same thing on this side. You got one up in here. Pow. In the washer. And you got this one right here. Same thing on this side. All right, there's that. And pull that off. Slide it forward just a little bit, take the tension off. Well, I just hit my arm right there on that thing and my whole hand's tingling now. That is weird. That is strange. My whole hand's numb. Feels like a swelling. Hope I didn't hurt myself too bad. Okay. Now we can get the deck up under it. Ooh, this is a big deck here, man, 48 inches. Slide some of this stuff out of the way. Ooh, boy, this is a heavy one here. Okay. Okay. Now we got that done. Got the deck out of the way. Let me hit pause and we're going to prepare for the procedure. All right. Just for me, my personal preference, and to help you guys see what I'm doing better, I'm going to pull this wheel off. I am. You don't have to, but don't take just a minute and get that thing out of your way. Just to get it out of your way, grab a little pair of pliers. Try not to hurt this little plastic cover. I'm gonna have to heat this thing up to put it back on because it's kind of cool to the touch. Cool to the touch. Don't lose your little clip. And the washer, that's what holds the rubber cap on. And that stud I was showing you is a 15 millimeters, not a 17. I don't know what I was thinking. Get this wheel out of the way. Get this little keeper, this little key right here. Don't lose that key. It goes in that little slot. That's what will, if you lose that, the tractor will not move and you think your transmission's bad. Let me grab a jack stand. Yeah, the axle will just spin inside that wheel there and it won't move. I I've had folks call me before, my tractor won't move. I put the wheel back on, now it won't move. Okay, takes just a moment. Now we'll see if we can get that stud off there. There's so much nice, Manny. You know I do this so often lately, these John Deeres. I'm gonna make me a tool. I'm gonna cut this 13mm off this end and make it like a stubby 15. This side's a 15. That way I can have that little tool just for these John Deeres. Because that wrench is just too long. Just too long. A little bit too long. Uh-oh. More money. Okay. Put on your face mask. Now I got a stubby 13 too. That's real stubby. I believe that's going to be absolutely perfect right there. I'm going to take it and put it on the grinder and kind of shape it up a little bit. One of them cheap tools that comes with a ATV or motorcycle or something. Well, that's going to be absolutely perfect right there. Let's see how well it works. Let's see how well it works. Get my hand right up in here like that. And get right on that little steady right there. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that. Now I got plenty of room to... Now I got plenty of room. Okay. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. I try to leave it long enough where you can actually grab it and have some leverage. There we go. This stud ain't very tight, but what you want to do is clean it on the wire wheel and put thread lock on it when you put it back on. Because you don't want this vibrating loose and losing it. I have seen that before. Somebody brings me one of these to work on and the stud's gone. That tells me somebody has replaced the drive belt before and didn't put thread lock on there. And of course the belt comes off. When you push the clutch in, it throws all that slack on there. And you have to have this on there to hold it against that pulley so it don't fall down off the pulley. Oh, this is so nice, really is. Instead of having to, you know, just take the wheel off and you can get your face in here and see it. And, oh yeah. It's just nice because I have this table and a nice clean shop to do this in. I can imagine a homeowner trying to do this on the gravel driveway or something. That would be terrible. I'll make it look easy because I got a nice table and stuff. See, there it is. Put a little thread lock on there. See, you've got a hex right there too. If you can get you can push that fuel tank up a little bit and get your little ratchet in there, and you can do it that way if you prefer. Pow. Okay, we got that. Now we've got to pull that PTO off. And the PTO, be very, very careful. It's got a plug. It plugs in right. Where's the plug? Where's the wire first? There it is right there. That's the wire. Nope, it's not. I need to pull this cover off and get it out of the way. Where are those wires going? Maybe yeah, okay, got it. Unplugs from the PTO itself. a screwdriver and just gently pry up on that little tab holding that plug on there if I can get it. I can't hardly see it because I can only get one eyeball on it, and it makes it optical illusion. Well, maybe I can just slide the camera and use my other hand. Whew. Yeah, let me get a smaller screwdriver. Put a little screwdriver under that little tab. Pry up on it a little bit. Be very careful, don't break it. Well, she's trying to be difficult. There we go. Pry up on that tab and just push that plug off right there, just like that. You don't want to break that tab. All right. Then what we'll do, we have to get this bracket off, because this bracket is what's holding that PTO from spinning. And if that PTO, the entire thing spins, you're going to rip all them plugs out, and then you'll be buying a new PTO. All right, let's be a 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter. All right, see how that bracket just kind of goes in that little tab right there? See, now if you try to engage it, man, this whole thing will spin. You'll rip them wires out. And you'll have somebody very upset with you. And that's the bracket. So, I wonder if I have to jack up the front of this tractor to get more room. I don't believe I do. I believe I can get my little stubby impact in there and knock that 5/8 headed bolt out of there. The PTO and the pulley above it should slide down. That way you can get the belt out from around these little keepers. See, this whole pulley is going to have to come down far enough to get it. There's 3 of them that goes all the way around this pulley. So let's pull the PTO off. All right, let me hit pause for a second. Somebody's pulling in. All right, let me slide this bar out of the way right here. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. See, I don't think I'm going to have to take it all the way off. I just want this whole assembly to slide down a little bit. Well, make sure I ain't going to let it fall. Well, see the bolt I did. I took it all the way off. And it's rubbing right there on that bar. I'm going to leave it just like that, and I'm going to see if I can just slide this pulley above it down. I get my hands in there. I'm going to have to get a pry bar and see if I can get that down a little bit. Get that down a little bit more. I need to set the parking brake, that way it throws a bunch of slack on that belt. That's probably why it ain't sliding down. First way I can go up in there to it. There we go. I didn't want that PTO to fall, but it did. It did. That's all right. Now I'm going to deal with that later. What I want to do here is I want to just loosen them. That way you can bring it down just enough to get that belt out from behind that belt keeper there and right here. And that's going to be a 15 millimeter. See, with the parking brake set, it just throws all that slack on there. Yep, I'm gonna have to use the pneumatic impact. I don't know why they're making things so tight. So tight. So tight. There we go. One thing I haven't done yet. This is the bottom of the steering shaft. So, and that is a 3/4. We'll put a 3/4 on there. There we go. Here's the steering gear. Now I'm going to grab the, I want to reach up in here and grab the steering shaft and steering column and just try to pick it up and out of the way a little bit. There we go. See how I just pull that up? That's far enough. That's far enough. It goes through this bushing right here. I'll show you from the engine compartment. Goes right through there. Goes through that plastic bushing, and you got another one on the bottom. That's good enough. Now what I'll do is get that belt off of this. Well, let me get it off the front pulley first, because I want to have a whole lot of slack so I don't hurt the fins on that transmission cooling fin. All right, we'll go ahead and pull the belt out. And then we'll come around here. And I'll just work it. Work it. Out from around that pulley. These fins are flexible. But be careful, don't break one of them off. All right. Now let's look at this belt. Yeah, you can see it burned in several places right there. Oh yeah, right there. Oh, look at there. Yes. Come here in the sunshine, you can see it better. Yeah. That's burnt almost in half, really. That's why that pedal was bouncing like it was. And look how thin it gets right there. That's about the only really bad place in the belt, but it's, yep, GX20006. That's why I like John Deere. They always put their parts numbers in their belts. Yeah, that thing is, whew, nasty little belt. All right, reverse order for the new one. Reverse order for the new one. I'm gonna grab my side cutters. Slide the sleeve off of it. This is the anti-theft device right here. This is what makes the, when you walk out the front door of the store, this is what makes it go beep, 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 beep. You have to cut these off. There's a little doohickey right there. Yep. Grab my little screwdriver. This is just the anti-theft device. Well, I was gonna peel it off and let you see the back side of it. There we go. It's just got that little strip of metal or something in it. I don't know. I don't know how these work, but well, that stuff will probably cause cancer in California. All right, new belt. Reverse order. Sure, some strange noises going on out there. Put it around the pulley. All right. Make sure it's on the pulley and not under it. There we go. That looks good. Get my hand on it. I want to make doubly sure it's on that pulley. All right. I'm sure it'll probably fall back off before I get it all the way on. All right. Feed it back up through here. Back around that pulley. Make sure it stays on that transmission pulley. No, this fell off again. So we'll go back around here. Run your hand up there. There we go. There we go. Whew. I'm going to go ahead and put the PTO back on there. When you pull this up, make sure the belt is completely on and give it a squeeze, because it's got to go up inside of these belt keepers. I got to find the groove in the shaft. There we go. Up there like that. And that belt will help it hang on while I get the PTO back on it. Change sockets. Well, let's see, we got to find the shaft, the groove for this. Gotta get it just right. Uh-oh, it's trying to come off again. Let's see, there's the, I'm gonna spin this. I'm gonna spin that inside so it'll catch. Okay. There we go. I'm going to run this bolt. Well, I'm going to spin this around, let it rest on that tie rod. I'm going to go put a little blue Loctite on this bolt. Put a little blue Loctite on your bolt. You shouldn't really have to because it's got this lock washer on there, but I like to do that. Just put a little bit right there. That's good. I like using blue, not the red, because man, you want to kind of be nice to the next mechanic that has to take that off. You don't want to make it impossible. There we go. Just make sure that belt is inside them belt keepers up there. Can't really see it that well, but I'm gonna take my fingers and feel around up there and make doubly sure that belt is inside. Looks good. I don't know the torque specs for this bolt, but I just like to hit it with the impact. There we go. You ain't got to get crazy with it. It's a grade 8 bolt. Whew. Now we'll spin this back around. This is a little groove here where the keeper held it still. Right there. Right in there like that. And then put your little bolt back in there. All right, let me grab the impact here and run that back down. I like to put a wrench on it just to make sure it is nice and tight. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, nice and tight. Now we'll come up here because I moved that wheel. I need to make sure these wheels are facing perfectly straight. And I'll come back here and look at it from the rear. They look pretty straight. So now I'm going to lower the table. Let's see, let's lower this table because I'm going to sit on it when I put the steering wheel back in. So I want to make sure the wheels are perfectly straight and the steering wheel is perfectly straight. Just by feel. That steering wheel is perfectly straight there. Looks like the wheel can be kicked out just a little bit. Okay, back up, back up. I don't want to give this back to the fella and have the steering wheel crooked. That would be a terrible thing to do. All right, now let's put the steering gear back on. Put your 3/4 back on there. You've got 5 or 6 or 7 of these little splines. You just gotta work it on just like that. All right, I'm gonna reach up here and hold the steering wheel while I hit it with the part. And that's a lock nut right there, so you don't have to worry about Loctite. There we go. Here's it. Okay, let's look at the transmission again. Belt is on there. Look at the engine pulley again. Everything looks hunky-dory. Now we'll put it back on the pulleys here. This one is a flat pulley and this one is a V pulley. So we know that the back side of the belt goes around this way. And then the V side of the belt goes around that way. And make sure you get it between the pulley and that keeper tab. And also make sure the pulley goes on that shaft perfectly, because it'll fit around that stud. Let me grab my impact again. Because if you're not careful, if it ain't on that stud right, you'll tighten it down, it'll be doing that. So up on that, just like that. And these are lock nuts too. These are 9 locks. Tighten that one. Tighten that one. They're inside between the pulley and that, so we're good. I'll tell you, if you do this wrong, it won't take just a split second to ruin that belt. And it's still on the transmission. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the parking brake off. That way it puts all the tension on the belt. There we go. Now the parking brake's off, so it's holding the belt tight now. So it's going to hold it to that pulley, and we can get that stud, that keeper, back on the top of that transmission. Let me grab some bleeders outside. Whew. I can imagine having to do this in a gravel driveway or something. Oh boy. If I can't get it up here on this table, I don't want to work on it. Okay. Just a little bit of blue Loctite. That's good. That's just good. And then we'll sneak our fingers back up in here and see it screws onto the transmission. There's a place right there on the transmission part. I need to spin that pulley a little bit because it's got one fin right in the way where I'm trying to. There we go. You get it screwed in far enough and it won't be up in them blades. You don't have to hold the blade back. Okay. See if I can get a little bit better light on this. Uh-oh, I just turned the light off. Okay. With my special little wrench I just made. Reach up in here. So much easier when you just pull this back wheel off. You can see it and get to it. You don't have to though. If I was working in a high volume repair shop doing this 15 times a day, and I had a service manager hollering at me, "Doug, you gotta hurry." I wouldn't take the time to do that, but I don't have nobody to answer to, so I do it my way. And we are almost all the way down. A few more turns. Ooh. Get my other hand in there. My shoulder's hurting. Twisting like I'm doing. Okay. Here. Make sure you get it good and snuggly. Move that flashlight, I can get my other hand in there with it. And give it a good hunker. There we go, I'm satisfied with that. I'm satisfied with that. Okay, there's the stud. It's not in anybody's way. Pulley's on there and it's engaged. All right, let's get this thing jacked back up and get the wheel back on it. You gotta hurry, Dobby. That job pays 20 minutes. Let me hit pause real quick. Alrighty. Get this wheel back on there. Oh. Don't forget about this washer that goes on there first. forget about this little square key. Spinning around there, it'll match. Without that little key, your tractor is going nowhere. I gotta put this washer in there. Grab a pair of chainy locks. Chainy locks. Set the camera down here somewhere. If it'll stay right there. Put it a little closer. Okay. And that little yellow cap. I'll tell you what I do with that little yellow cap that goes on there. I set it out here in the sun so it'll get nice and hot and warm, and it'll flex. You can get it over that washer easier. Usually if it's wintertime, I'd have to take a heat gun to it. Here we go. Little tricks of the trade. There we go. Clear the table. Alrighty. That's a heavy little jack. All right, all we got to do now is put the deck back on it. Let me slide this out of the way before I forget it's sitting there. All right, let me hit pause. I'm going to wrestle this deck back over here. Good places to grab it. One thing I haven't done yet was plug that PTO back in. And make sure you don't bend the little tabs or nothing, because it won't work if you do. Line it up and click it in. I'm gonna turn the key on. Yep, just pull the PTO button up and down. You can hear it click. Everything's proper. Proper. Okay. Little bar back in there. Let's see, I'll put this back on there like that. Pick it up and set it back up here. If I can find somewhere to grab it. Here. Put the washer and the pin back in it. All right, put this one back on there. With the washer. I like putting these pins on there. That way, in case you get hit by a stick or something hits it, it won't knock it out. Well, just like that. Okay, now let me get the belt back on it. Well, let me put the belt on there last because I still got those other brackets I need to put back on first. Having that belt on there will make me struggle with this part. If this was a manual engagement model, that engagement cable comes right through here, bolts there, runs up above here, and runs right across in front of that, and it's aggravating because it's hard to get to. All right, now we'll put the front bar back on there. All right, we're getting it. All right, I got that little pin on there. Now we'll come right over here. Get this belt back on there. Perfect. This one doesn't have the keeper on the transmission. I'm on the engine blade belt because there's tension all the time. If this was a manual engagement, when you disengage it, it would just throw a bunch of slack on here. So you'd have to have the little belt keeper that comes down through here too. But on these models, you don't. So, okay, let's take a little gander here, make sure everything is just so perfect. Yep. All right, let's let the table down, man. We're gonna fire it up, see how she's acting. Make sure I don't have anything laying on the table. Everything's clear. Oh, there's my needle nose laying there. Yeah, this really should have been about a 20-minute job, but it's taken me about 2 hours trying to record it, answering phone calls, people coming by. Well, all right, boys and girls, that is a transmission drive belt on a S140 John Deere tractor. There's so many models that are just the same way, you know, your D series and E series and stuff like that. They're all the same. And I appreciate you guys watching another Tom Novi video. Where'd that oil come from? Anyway, man, I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all have a merry little good one. Love y'all, and I will catch y'all on the next one.